Okay, welcome to the second part of our orientation for the course. We're going to be focusing on technology and interface. We've got two main technology components we'll be using in this class, Canvas and Mymathlab. So I'm going to take a few minutes and go through each of these with us together. So first of all, we're looking at Canvas. We're going to start looking first at the organization and then also how to get assistance for issues within Canvas if you're not familiar or you're struggling with a particular aspect of it. So in Canvas, looking at our organization for the course overall, the primary area we're going to work with is the learning modules. We also have our syllabus here where you can be able to access the syllabus and your calendar. Your calendar should be showing all of the work you have for your various Canvas courses. If it's not showing up, let me know, but that should show not just for this class, but actually all of the ones for all of your classes integrated in. At the bottom of the syllabus link, you're going to see where it's got all of your assignments listed out just for this course. Okay. Now the last bottom one there is grades. That section is not currently accurate. My efforts to weight the grades correctly from Mymathlab and moving them over to Canvas are not working, so I'm going back in and having a meeting with our Canvas expert on campus next week. So that should be up and running by the middle of next week. So again, currently that is not accurate. I will get back to you all about that once we've got it set. So the learning module is the place where we have our primary learning and primary work area. Clicking on your learning modules, it's going to bring you up to a series of views like this. So this is a typical learning module. It's a little different than usual because in this particular first week, we're just doing a lot of discussion forums. So if we're looking at this, see that each week does start off with an overview and a to-do list. So that gives you a general orientation to where we're going with that particular module. Also, along with listing particular objectives I want you to be able to accomplish. And last, at the bottom of it will be a to-do list. Now, the next thing you have that you're going to use a lot is lectures. I've built all the lectures for this course. They're my customized ones built off of my in-class lectures, and they're posted on YouTube. So they're going to be posted here under lectures. They'll have organizing titles for them. Also, they'll have either organizing points to make sure that you're getting the core pieces when you're done, or as you can see on this one, being able to tell you what activities you should be able to accomplish or what key information you should be able to use at that point. Now, the other thing we have here periodically throughout the course is discussion forums, and this is an example for one that we have this week. In each of these, you're going to see it starts off with a little really quick sentence or two about what we're trying to accomplish with it. Because the due dates are a little unusual for these, so we have an initial posting due date, and then we have a further follow-up conversation due date. I post that up at the top so that make sure that that's salient for you when you're looking at the assignment. Then you've got a series of prompts, either some activities to do or questions to ask, or probably a little bit of both. And then at the bottom of it, we see the grading. We would have the grading scale. Now, the last part we have with this is the Pearson MyLab and the mastering section, but we're actually going to look at that when we get to the next section on Mymathlab. So we'll get onto that one in just a moment. Alright, now getting assistance overall and in discussion forums. So getting overall assistance, you should see if you're in your Canvas view, you should see on the left hand side, all the way over on the left hand side, when you click on the button that says help, that will open up this conversation right here where you can ask questions to me and email your questions to me. You can search the Canvas guidelines. You can also chat with Canvas support or use their hotline. So if you're having problems with Canvas that I'm not addressing here, feel free to reach out to me or contact the Canvas support. Lastly, looking at within the discussion forums, this is about the only place where I think it's really a little bit unusual and different from people that have used Blackboard before. So I've made sure on the bottom of each of your discussion forums is this tech support snippet where it's giving you a link specifically to the Canvas student guide for doing discussion. So you can click on that and it will take you over to a section of frequently asked questions for using the discussion forums. Okay, next up we have Mymathlab. This is where we're going to be doing a lot of our work. So we're going to take some time to go through here and look at first how to access it. Secondly, what some of the interface is, how to get homework help with it. And lastly, assistance if you have any issues with working with Mymathlab. Okay, so accessing Mymathlab. There's really two ways you can get to Mymathlab. On the sidebar, you'll see under modules, there's MyLab and Mastering option, and also within each module you'll see that there's specific links to them. I strongly recommend that you use the link within the module. It prevents you overlooking discussion forums or any other additional resources within each module. So I suggest that you get out of the habit of clicking on Mymathlab and Mastering and clicking right over to it, and first go into the module. Make sure you're looking at the overview, the orientation, and any other activities that you need to be doing for the course. Now, interfacing with Mymathlab. I suggest that when you get to the Mymathlab interface, when you're clicking on that within the module or from the side, that you select the option that is Mymathlab with Pearson e-text course home. There's several different options. The first one is all assignments. I actually suggest that you use the second one. It's going to take you into Access with more options, some of which we'll be using later on in this matter. So you're clicking on that. It's going to give you this particular view here. So here's an example of the course view that you would be looking at. There's a couple of interesting pieces in here, so let's take a few minutes and look at them. So first of all, you can see that over here you have a box if you're looking at it on the right hand side in this image, what to work on next. It gives you a list of upcoming assignments and what you need to be doing and what their due dates are. Well, I also can see up above it we have a calendar organization for these same assignments. So there's two different ways your assignments are organized and that you can view them. You would be able to click on either here the example link of the chapter 0 homework that's in the blue font, which we're looking at as being due on May 14th. Or if you look up there in the box under Monday, that little icon that you see there, that is actually the same assignment. So you'd be able to click on that, and then either way it will take you to the assignment. So this is the optimal way to interface with everything. It also has from this view Stats Crunch, which we're going to be using quite a bit later on. So we get into more complicated statistical analyses. We're going to focus a little bit more on interpretation sometimes rather than calculations. So we're going to be using Stats Crunch. Okay, so here you're looking at your interface. So if I click on either one of these here, either my chapter 0 homework or again my icon that I've got my calendar, it takes me over a view that's going to look pretty much just like this. This is what you're going to get for most of your assignments. You can have the details of the assignment at the top, what's the name of the homework, when it's due. It'll tell you information when's the last time you worked on it, what your current score is. And you can also see, for example, in this particular homework, you have unlimited attempts per question. Okay, so, and you also have listed down here your late submission penalty. So once we see this, we have all of our different questions, and all I have to do is just click on a question to start it, and it's going to take me straight into the first question. Notice, of course, you can stop, come back, work on other questions. If you have questions that have multiple parts to them, you'll be able to see where you get scores for partial points as well. Okay, finally, to get an idea of how the question formats are set in within Mymathlab, this homework you see right here, Chapter 0, is designed to be a walkthrough of various question formats. So I suggest that you make that a priority, go through and do that. They're not really particularly unusual or confusing, but still it's a good idea to go through and do them so that you're familiar with the particular mode in which the questions are presented to you and the different types of option responses available within Mymathlab, so you don't have any questions or confusion with those overlapping into you being able to present your understanding of the statistical processes. Okay, now we're into homework help. So on the right hand side of every homework problem, you're going to see this little icon over here that says question help. So it's going to be right there. And I apologize for the kind of odd quality of that particular image. Currently, my screen capture is being fussy about getting an image of that because you have to be mousing over the question help for all the other options to pop up. So I just took a picture with my phone. So it's a little grainy, but it will do what we need to do. So clicking on the question is going to give you all of these different options. So let's look at each of them. First of all, help me solve this. This guides you through each step of solving the problem, checking your work as you go. So it's a step-by-step explanation and often breaks down problems into smaller substeps. This helps you identify the specific location of your mistake. One of the things that can happen when we're going to be doing long, complex problems is realizing that you've made a mistake, your answer is not right, but where exactly were you making that mistake? At what point of those 5 or 6 point calculations where you're wrong. Using the Help Me Solve This tool will help you identify specifically where you're making your mistake. And keep in mind, this fits obviously in with our learning through failure component of the optimal learning strategies. So just because you're not getting a problem right isn't a problem. You want to come up and use this Help Me Solve This option to then go through and identify specifically and exactly where you're misunderstanding the information or misapplying it, and that will help us get you back on track. Next, we have View an Example. This solves a similar problem for you, so it goes through and provides all the solutions. I'm a little cautious about recommending that you use this. In fact, I really recommend that you avoid it. As we talk about under the optimal learning strategies, having somebody explain a problem for you all the way through where you do not have to do the work yourself actually makes you vulnerable to the fluency effect. So looking through it, it makes perfect sense to you, but you're not able to actually remember it deep enough because you have not engaged in the effortful learning. So later on, when you try to apply it again later, you're not going to be able to do so. So the View the Example is something some students say they really like it. However, ultimately, every student that's relied on it during the semester has ultimately moved away from it and started using the Help Me Solve This, and they felt it really improved their comprehension. So I really kind of view that with caution, but it is there if you want to use it. Our other thing here is Ask My Instructor. So this emails a link to your specific problem to me. In Mymathlab, each of the problems, you each have the same type of problem. However, the numbers or data generated to work with it are unique to you. So telling me that you don't understand problem number 3 on the homework for section 1.4 is not going to help me because each person is going to have unique numbers. So what you need to do is use the Ask My Instructor option, click on that, and it will send a link to me that will direct link back to your exact problem with your exact numbers. Okay, so this lets me see the work you've already done on it, so I can see where you are. In this emails, I have all my email forwarded straight to my phone, so actually I can often respond really quickly. A lot of times there's just a small thing that people are getting stuck on, and so it's really quick to be able to check in with you and give you an idea of what you need to be looking at and how to follow up on it. So lastly, whenever you're sending that email to me, do be sure to provide a brief overview of what you've tried or where you are stuck. Just sending me the link and having it blank is kind of asking me to do your homework for you. So that's not going to be good. I need you to be able to let me know what you've been working on, what you've tried, and where you're confused. And then I'll be able to give you assistance and guidance from there. I really like this particular option with the homework help. This is actually one of the things I really like about Mymathlab. First of all, you can use the Help Me Solve This tool to really guide you through solutions for a lot of the problems. Without necessarily having to contact me, which means you can work on these at any time and at any pace that works with your particular schedule. However, if the Help Me Solve This is still not working for you, you have the option to do Ask My Instructor and email that to me. That allows me to give you feedback really a lot quickly, so you can actually often be working on the problem. It's not working, you send me an email with the link. If it's not too late in the evening, I often can get back to you with an answer within 30 minutes, so that helps you kind of stay in your work groove. Okay, last, assistance with Mymathlab. So, Mymathlab is great for homework help, but sometimes you need assistance interacting with Mymathlab. So, if you go and you look at, again, your interface with Mymathlab, so here we see at the top left corner, that's that link we were just looking at before we went to the course homepage. Notice if you have this green link down here that says click to view support tools. If you click on that, you get an option to click on student help. Clicking on that student help takes you to a page that looks pretty much, this is the top part of that page, so it takes you to a page by Pearson focusing on student help. And within that page, you have several different options for getting assistance. So the MyLab and Mastering for Canvas provides answers to frequently asked questions. You also have the search help option where you can type in specifically what you're looking for and have it search for it. Or if none of that is working for you, under support, you have the option to send an email or I think they also have a chat room for student support. So those are various different ways that if you're having difficulty with the Mymathlab interface that you can get assistance. Okay, so this concludes our second tutorial. So we're now over halfway through getting through your preparing for going into the course and having a successful semester. Great work.